right, boys. So, one of my sources informed me the other day that Wanda Maximoff had her annual performance review.
Oh,
okay.
Do you guys want to know how it went?
Yeah,
Sure.
Fill us in.
She exceeded expectations because there was exponential growth in all categories.
You made that one up, didn't you?
I made that one up all on my own because it's about this episode. Spoilers. Boom.
Okay.
Subscribe.
I love it.
Okay.
It's not often I flex the joke muscles, but when I do, they look like Nick's real muscles. So,
Hey.
welcome back, ladies and gents, to another episode of the Real Heroes Show. In today's episode, myself, Kevin, and Nick are going to deep dive into, it's episode 6 already of WandaVision. There will be heavy spoilers in this episode, so if you have not watched the episode, get out of here, go watch the episode, then come back and see us. You can, like the videos, that way it saves to your like videos on YouTube, so you know right where to come back to, and subscribe to that channel and turn on those notifications. Boom. So boys, a lot happened in this one. We're 2/3 of the way through. This is the what I would consider the conclusion of Act 2 of the 3-act story. Out of 10, gun to your head, what do you give this one?
Nick, why don't you go first?
I'm gonna give it a solid 8.5. I'd maybe teeter on 8.75 maybe. Like, okay. I don't want to give it.
We're getting granular now, baby.
Yeah. I don't want to give it a 9 right off the bat. Because again, we're only 6 episodes deep. We still have 3 episodes left, Act 3, and I think in Act 3 we're gonna get into like the real meat and potatoes, the heavy shit. And
pop off.
Yeah, and so I feel like you can't just be like, oh well, every episode at the end is a 10. Maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like an 8.5 to like an 8.75 is a safe bet. And again, it's still a really good episode, great even. So
I'm gonna have to agree with Nick on this one. It's kind of like when you go to a new brewery, you don't want to give the very first beer you drink a 10.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know, it might get better. This is pretty fucking good, but it might.
Exactly.
I don't know. It might get better. It was a fantastic episode, though. On a lot of different levels, and it's nice to see all of the different pieces start to kind of meld. Yeah. And rather than like this episode, we get just Wanda and Vision, and in this episode, we just get Darcy and Jimmy. Like this was nice because you get everything all at the same time.
Yeah,
true. I'd be in the 8 category. I think I liked last week's a little bit better than this one.
Yeah.
And we'll get into why when we talk about likes and dislikes. But I'll say a solid 8 for this one. And like Nick said, I think judging by the fact that there's only been about 3 full hours of content over these first 6 episodes, and the series is supposed to be 6 hours, we're about to
pop
get
off
like hour-long episodes, I think, from here until the end.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
So I can't give those big numbers out, the 9s and 10s. Those have to be stored in case they go completely apeshit towards the end here. But
they have to be stored for when they go apeshit towards the end.
Exactly.
It's coming.
I sure hope so, man.
Like like you're sitting in your couch or your chair and you just have a stand-up moment,
Come on. I mean, Monica was literally on her way to go get her contact,
her guy,
who she said is a guy in this episode.
We'll
get narrows it down.
So. Who last episode she said was a brilliant aerospace engineer. Yeah, which help her get into a thing filled with cosmic background radiation. Come on,
that's CMBR.
Beard twirler. That's interesting. So, to get into likes and dislikes, Kevin, I'll let you start out. What was there that you liked? Was there anything that didn't land for you in this one? The floor is yours.
I don't know that there was anything that I flat out disliked. I thought it was all. The only thing that I would say is, the fuck happened to Darcy? Like, I just want to know what happened to Darcy. They didn't answer that, and I'm not sure I like the cliffhanger. But beyond that, I liked the lightheartedness because it was, there is this dark undertone to all of the lightheartedness. Like there is, despite everything that's happening, despite the jokes and the costumes and all that kind of stuff, there is something right below the surface. And now for the first time, maybe not the first time, but more so than usual, Wanda's feeling it too. You can tell on her face, like, you know, when Pietro is asking her some of these questions, she's like, where is this, you know, where's this coming from, and why don't we have the same memories, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So it was a really good mix, I think, of that like goofy, lighthearted tone, along with still, you know, stirring the pot just a little bit, letting you know that something's a brewing.
True. Nick, how about you?
Ooh, man. As far as what I don't really think there's a lot I didn't like. Obviously, you know, wanting episodes to be longer, which I think we'll get with these next 3 episodes. So I don't want to fault the episode or say like it's a dislike for any reason, but that's just me wanting great content. But I'd say for the episode itself, the Easter eggs were cool. You know, I wasn't a big fan. I didn't get in like Malcolm in the Middle when I was now younger. I watched like, you know, episodes here and there when they were on TV, but we got that intro, the whole breaking of the fourth wall with the twins. I think I did like the whole Kick-Ass reference. So for those of you watching, if you've ever seen the movie Kick-Ass, if you haven't, go back and watch it, because both actors that play Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver, in the MCU, were best friends in the movie Kick-Ass. So again, I think that's just the cleverness of the writing, you know, from Marvel here. I think just is a job well done. I feel
like Marvel itself is breaking the fourth wall.
Oh, absolutely.
They're breaking the fourth, speaking straight to the audience and going, all right, we hear you. We know these questions. We're on Twitter too, guys. You know, so that when you get the whole, like, what happened to your accent? What happened to yours? All right, we've been asking that shit for years now. Like, what the hell happened to Wanda's accent?
Well, the funny thing is we're all asking these questions, and they've already been filmed that. So it's like they already knew the questions we were going to be asking before the show was even out. So
they've got us wrapped around their fingers.
Yeah, it's like we've been behind this entire time. No one's been able to sort of figure out what they're doing. Correct. So in some cases, and to no one's offense, but we're kind of dummies here.
Yeah, we're Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, you know, and but Jimmy Woo has a nice little action scene, you know.
Who knew, right?
Yeah,
punches some
out of nowhere. That's one of my dislikes. We'll get to that.
But I think the other thing I like about this episode again is the acting. You know, I think Evan Peters again is just doing a great job playing this sus Pietro or Peter, Uncle Peter. Mm-hmm. And then I think the twins, you know, did a better job. They got some more spotlight in this episode. And I don't know about director Hayward. You know, he's obviously like acting like an asshole. I don't know if he's someone else, you know, possibly a Skrull or I don't think he's Mephisto or anything like that, but I think he could be a Skrull or just a regular old human asshole. I don't know. Yeah, right. But like, again, the acting, I think, you know, when he's supposed to be this, you know, villainous character, if people can hate you when they watch the show, then in my opinion, you're doing a good job. Like Ramsay in Game of Thrones,
sure.
Right? Joffrey in Game of Thrones. Like you just hated those characters, and you almost hated the actor for their portrayal in the acting. So it's like, all right, Hayward. Like, I'm not a big fan of you, but
no,
I think you're doing a good job.
I wish they would have got David Harbour to play that instead of that character.
Instead of Red Guardian?
Yeah, because I mean,
Black Widow's not a real movie.
It's not a real movie. It hasn't happened yet. It's not actual. Not really on my radar. So, but David Harbour would have been fantastic in that role as Hayward.
He could have dealing with a weird force. Yeah. Stranger Things.
Imagine
the references they could have pulled from that.
Yeah. I don't know. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah. I've seen Stranger Things. Oh, we have too. Thanks, Dave.
What about you, Cory?
Well, I guess I can get the nitpicks out of the way first and then go into the positive stuff because I don't like to end my segments on a negative. I'm over the sword stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. And I think part of that is because the stuff inside the bubble is so ridiculously captivating. Mm-hmm. Whenever they cut back to the stuff in the bubble, I'm like, oh, sword. I'm like, okay, come, just get him out of here. Let me go back in and see what Wanda and the kids are doing and all that, because that's all so.
Hey, well, they're all clowns now.
Well, so. Yeah, so
the clown card that Darcy references in a couple episodes prior.
Yeah.
Now they're a bunch of clowns.
Now they're actually a bunch of clowns, which is great. I thought it was a little bit plot conveniency for Hayward to kick all three of them out together. It was kind of like, first of all, one of those is the person that cracked the damn code. Yeah, for you to know what the hell's going on in there. So why would you ever kick her out? And then they make this whole thing about the three of them having to get out and escape. And then Darcy just ends up getting sucked into the hex anyways. So I don't know. It seemed a little weird to me and a little clunky, and it's just not as organic as what's happening inside the bubble. But to get into what I liked, holy shit, everything inside the bubble, comic accurate costumes. If you had told me that they were gonna do Quicksilver with the hair and the lightning bolt, and dude, hilarious.
I would agree.
Oh,
dude, and then try to play off Vision as a luchador.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like
his little mind stones like flapping in the
breeze. He's like, despite your fondness for Mexican wrestlers or whatever. What?
And then for what did Wanda say? She's a Sokovian
fortune
teller. Yeah. Not the Scarlet Witch, which is pretty good. But I loved all that. I love the photography inside the bubble, because when we get to the late 90s, early 2000s, it's when widescreen TVs started to become more popular in the household. So instead of doing the square formats, we're now in full widescreen, and we're filling the entire frame. Like, so when they cut back to the sword stuff, it's back to like a cinematic crop with the letterboxing on top and bottom, but the stuff in the bubble is filling up the whole screen. They did a lot of like close-up wide angle photography, like when Pietro's asleep on the couch. All that stuff, like it was really neat.
Well, the way they do the camera work all together is different, right? It's not like a bunch of blocking, like they're tracking with the characters. They're
tracking shots. There are also shots from like other sides of the house, whereas before it's almost been like, they talk about the fourth wall. The fourth wall is there because that's where all the cameras are. In this episode, they started to kind of maneuver in, like even in the intro, the kids are moving around with a steady cam, and they're going through the kitchen, they're down the steps and all that. So their house has more of like a three-dimensional perspective to it, which I think is pretty cool. And then, my other favorite thing, my theories are all making me think I'm wrong on everything.
Right.
Yeah.
For the first 5 episodes or so, I was like, yeah, okay, we're meandering with some of this stuff, but the theories are going to come true. After this one, I'm starting to doubt whether or not any of us knew what the hell was happening. And that's great.
And if that's the case, like, kudos, Marvel. Because we were pretty certain, and in fact, the entire internet was pretty certain that we knew what was going on.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right. And then the last thing that I really liked that I noticed was Vision, when he gets out of the bubble for a very short period of time, the incredible visual effects that are happening.
Oh, yeah.
He has the Mind Stone in his head.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he's outside of this different reality. Are we going to see more Infinity Stones just re-pop back up in the universe? Like that's hello.
There's a theory.
Well, we might make another video for that.
Yeah, we might say that for another video. So if you want to hear a little bit more about that, then you got to tune in for the next video.
Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell for me. I would say let's dive into two big questions, and they revolve around two different characters.
Yeah.
So let's start with the one that probably has the shorter answer. What the hell is up with Agnes?
Yeah.
It's a good question, and Nick was saying, I think offline earlier, she's conveniently dressed like a witch.
Yeah.
Which plays right into the whole Agatha thing, and then she laughs like a witch. She is actively trying to leave the bubble for some reason, which, depending on, she's obviously been moving around freely during this entire thing, right? Suddenly, she's on the outskirts and she's frozen. And we know that anything on the outskirts is moving very slowly, right?
Right.
So what that implies is that Agnes decided to leave the bubble. And the closer she got to the edge, the more she slowed down.
Right.
So what was the impetus for her to go, I got to get the fuck out of here? Like, was she actually coherent at that time? Is she in on this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's an interesting part where she says took a wrong turn, and like you said offline, Cory, her license plate says
It's
Connecticut. Doesn't say New Jersey.
Right.
And Vision's like, I thought you grew up in this town. Just kidding, she didn't. So I know we've been saying and thinking and theorizing that she's Agatha Harkness, a mutant witch. Catherine Hahn, even though she was in this episode for a very short amount of time, I think for that part she killed it.
Maximize the minutes for sure.
Yeah, and then when Vision kind of like warps her mind, like snaps her out of it, she's like, "Oh my God, you're Vision, you're an Avenger," and he's like, "What's an Avenger?" But then she kind of goes in this little bit of a loop, saying, "You're dead, dead, dead." And then
kind of like how Mrs. Hart in episode 1 with the stop it.
Yeah.
And or Herb when he glitches out and is cutting through the wall back in episode 3.
Yeah.
I think somehow this episode made her even more sus than she was before. It's just weird shit. It's like, why are you in that position in the first place?
Yeah, because she the thing about it is, when Vision kind of puts her back into the Westview state, the Hex state, she turns around. She then is able to drive back, and I'm like, but if she was stuck there, how long was she stuck there for? And how was she able to just turn around?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think she's playing, and of course, if she's Agatha Harkness and she's part of this grander scheme, then she should know who Vision is, because he was an Avenger when he was alive, and now he's dead.
Well, everybody in this town technically should know that. And imagine real world shit.
Yeah.
Suddenly next week we have a team of actual fucking superheroes and a synthezoid that can fly around and shoot beams of energy out of his head, and they save us from an alien invasion. Imagine that happens in real life. There's not one single human that doesn't know who that is. Yeah. So everybody there has to know.
Yeah.
I think she's full of shit. I think she's playing him, and I think
when
he does his little mind awakening type thing, she's just acting right through it. But maybe she's sitting there in the car because she's at the point now where she was given a job to do, but she's seen how powerful Wanda has become, and she's maybe a little bit scared.
Yeah, she's trying to get the fuck out of Dodge.
She's like, Mephisto, I love you, bro, but I got like shit to do in like Indiana or something. I need to get really far away from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do we know that this would be a really good question? Do we know where Agatha is from in the comics? Because it'd be pretty.
Isn't it Salem? Isn't she part of the Salem witch trials?
Yeah, she's part of the
Salem
Salem
witch trials. Salem witch trials. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is more New England than New Jersey.
And the Connecticut-ish area could classify a little bit like New England or close to.
I don't know. I'm reaching for straws here.
Yeah. It's.
Let's stop reaching, and for time's sake, let's talk about Pietro, because there's a lot to dive into on Pietro. Evan Peters, wonderful.
Oh, dude, he crushed it for sure.
Killing the role.
Yeah.
However, he introduces a lot of questions into what exactly is going on. Is he actually a new version of the MCU Pietro? Is he Pietro from the Fox universe? He seems to know some things. He doesn't seem to know others.
Yeah.
Kevin, what's your take? What's your read? Do you think
I think he's an imposter.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's an imposter who You know, he's in there. He's obviously powered, right? Either he's powered or Wanda is making him powered because she thinks that that's who he is. You know, if she really truly believes that that's Quicksilver, then obviously she could, you know, just subconsciously give him those powers inside the bubble.
Sure.
So it's one of those two things. But the way that he's acting, the questions he's asking, the stuff that he does know, pretty much anybody with a little bit of background information would know.
Yeah.
Their memories aren't the same, you know, and he tries to explain that away. And then on top of all of that, he just pokes and pokes and pokes and pokes and asks questions like he's a reporter who doesn't want you to know he's a reporter. Like, he legitimately feels like he is there gathering information, asking where she's been keeping all the kids. You know, how did this start? Why are you doing, like, all that kind of stuff? Like, he's trying to sort things out. So, you know, my initial thought was, oh, this is where all of the universes start to combine and crash in on each other. And maybe it is. Or maybe it's Hayward with a plant, and that's what Darcy was about to uncover.
Did y'all notice, all great points, Pietro had a tattoo on his left arm that said mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what mom could be an acronym for?
Multiverse of Madness.
I don't know. Probably not, but could be fun, right?
I think it's a qualifying Easter egg, and I think again that could be something where, again, when he says like you called and I came, so it's and it's like, well, maybe that is true, and maybe Wanda couldn't necessarily bring back the dead like her kids said, right? Like for Sparky the dog. She didn't bring the dog back. Maybe she tried to bring her brother back, and they even I'm kind of getting the kids confused. Timer Billy was like, "Mom's been acting really strange toward Uncle Peter because she hasn't seen him in a while." Like, I love those little bits. But it's true though, because you can just tell by her acting, her expressions, that she doesn't know, she doesn't trust him. Obviously at the end she blasts him. With magic over the cemetery, no less. Yeah. You know, and of course we don't see him get back up and be like, yo, why'd you do that? But I assume we will in the next episode. And it's, again, it kind of begs the question. I don't think he's the rendition she wants or wanted. So at that point, she's super sus about, you're not my brother. Who are you? And what are you doing here? How'd you get in?
Right.
And again, maybe the mom tattoo is a foretelling of, no, I am Pietro Maximoff, but I came from a different universe.
Right.
You know, but you look the same in my universe, sort of thing, right? Like, we don't know.
Yeah, because we never saw her in that universe.
Exactly.
It could look exactly the same.
Yeah, but I think some of the things where he has the same speed effect, like Pietro does in Age of Ultron, not the Fox version. You know, he mentions the XY chromosome when he says, "No, Viz, like, go do your neighborhood watch stuff," and but of course he says, go rampage the town, my little demon spawn.
Yeah.
Westview is charming as hell, right? Like, there's these drops where I'm like, are you Mephisto trying to play off?
He certainly could be.
Pietro
That's something that I was gonna say for the next video.
Yeah, we can get into that, but it's just something that begs the question. So it's, I don't think she can trust him. I don't think she's going to trust him, and we'll find out if he's real from another multiverse or he's Mephisto.
I think it's also important to remember when you're talking about all of this, like bringing people back from the dead. She did not bring Vision back from the dead because he was never alive. He is a machine.
Right.
He's a synthezoid who was powered by a massive amount of energy, and now he is powered by a massive amount of energy.
Yeah.
Just a different type of energy, probably.
I have a theory about that too. But
right. But so to this point, we have not necessarily seen Wanda bring anybody back from the dead. We've seen her do a lot of really cool shit.
It's true.
But not necessarily that.
But dead is dead.
Yeah.
Yep. Unless you're Loki. and then Jed is just mischief.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we're running a little long, so we'll probably wrap this one up, and we'll have to make sure that you guys head over to our next video later this week, where we discuss all of our theories after this episode, because all or mine are basically getting tossed out the damn window at this point, and I'm gonna have to rethink a new one before we record the next episode. So guys, thanks so much for watching the show. If you have any comments or have any thoughts on this episode, we'd love to hear them. Please leave them in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, so that way whenever we post new content, you'll make sure to be able to see it as soon as possible. And until next time, peace.